Well, welcome. Thank you. Group 10 Metals is focused on battery and precious metals in the Stillwater district of Montana. As you've heard, we're part of the metallic group of companies. You've just met Greg Johnson of Metallic Minerals. You'll see the same approach at Group 10, district scale assets purchased in the bear market and 100% ownership of a brownfield district. Granite Creek Copper is the third company in the metallic group. Group 10 is blessed with 3 district scale assets, all of them 100% owned. Our focus is the Stillwater West project in Montana. In addition, we have the Black Lake-Drayton high-grade gold project in Ontario beside Treasury Metals, and the Kluane PGE-Ni-Cu-Co Copper project in the Yukon beside one of the largest undeveloped deposits of its type. Today, we'll be focusing entirely on Stillwater. That's the project that's attracted the attention of the majors. And that's the focus of our efforts. In each case, all 3 of these assets, district scale and adjacent to some of the best examples of their types, all in North America. And with that and a database and bringing in some new geologic models, you have the potential for world-class discoveries. Given our focus on Stillwater, the other 2 assets are effectively for sale at this point, and we're in some good discussions towards monetizing those assets. The corporate team is very experienced in advancing juniors and making discoveries. Myself, I've been in the industry since 1990 and founded Group 10. Greg Johnson, who you just met in the previous presentation, took Nova Gold from 10 cents a share to $2 billion in market cap. And the rest of the board, I invite you to do your due diligence, do a dive. It's a great team. Our technical team is truly world-class. Dr. Craig Bowe is well known in terms of these ultramafic rocks that we're in, and was at Stillwater in the 1980s. We're glad to bring him back. And we've reunited some members of the team that were active on our projects before us at Stillwater. And that's important because the project brought a lot of data with it. So as we're getting into the 12,000 meters of drilling that we have in the core shack from the past operators, that's not historic. And as we bring in these new models, that's very important. Great continuity there. The last item to call out this quote from Dr. David Broughton. This is Ivanhoe's past chief geologist, and the significance here is that he just co-discovered their Platte Reef system in South Africa, and that's the model that we're bringing through in Montana. The system at Stillwater is fundamentally a nickel copper sulfide system, and this is, of course, the battery grade nickel that Tesla and others are looking for. The district is known for its palladium and platinum. The mines beside us are the highest grade palladium and platinum mines in the world at more than 17 grams per ton. We show significant potential for rhodium, which is very strategic in the US. There is essentially no mine supply in North America. And we have significant cobalt as well, which is also strategic, especially in the US. We have a good gold exposure. We offer good leverage to gold to our investors. We have it as a co-product at Stillwater. In addition, we have high-grade zones of gold at Stillwater, and we have the Ontario Gold Project, which is focused on gold. In terms of our metal basket, our commodity basket at Stillwater, the value is approximately 1/3 nickel, 1/3 palladium, and 1/3 the other elements that you see on the screen. So the vision here, the objective is to become a primary US-based source of both battery and precious metals. And it's worth noting that 5 of our target commodities have been listed as strategic by the US government. So they're looking to secure domestic supplies of 5 of our commodities. And we're in a US district beside 3 mines and a smelter, which has to be beneficial to the company. Our land position is excellent. It's rare for a junior like us to share a district with a giant of the industry. Our claims are in yellow, our neighbors are in gray. The district is known for the JM Reef deposit. This is the highest grade palladium platinum deposit in the world, and the largest outside of South Africa and Russia. There are 3 mines on that deposit, as shown here, plus a smelter complex 60 kilometers away. We own this 100%, and effectively we are the first to bring this Platte Reef bulk mineable nickel copper sulfide PGE model from South Africa, from Platte Reef to Montana. We'll take a look at the rocks in a cross section through the red line here. This is a layered magmatic system. It's very similar to the Bushveld of South Africa, which is the biggest of its type in the world. In the upper parts of these systems, in the green portion, we get reef-type deposits. The layers are discrete and visible, and the deposits are narrow. You can see our neighbor's deposit, the JM Reef deposit, and also our Picket Pin deposit above them in those green layers. Our focus is on the purples and oranges and the potential for Platte Reef style systems. And what we mean by that is big bulk mineable nickel and copper sulfide with platinum group metals in addition. And the targets here, the parallels would be Anglo American's Mogalakwena mine in South Africa and Ivanhoe's Platte Reef mine, for example. There's a total of 400 million ounces in the Platte Reef district of PGMs, and tens of billions of pounds of copper and nickel. And we're blessed at Stillwater, as shown here, with drill-defined mineralization at 3 zones in particular, as shown here, top left. The soils light up with mineralization at Stillwater and are a very effective exploration tool for us. We've identified a number of targets on this basis. And arrived at a total of 6 reef-type target areas and 8 Platte Reef-type target areas. So this is the compilation, this is the result of our compilation efforts of a terrific database. Shown here is the conductivity of the rocks. So purple are the highest level of conductors, and you've also got drill data over top of that. We're going to zoom in on the most advanced target areas. So these 5 areas have sufficient drill data in terms of both continuity and grade to hold together and give us the beginnings of mineral resources. So we are now advancing these drill-defined mineralized areas to our first resources on the project, and that's a key objective of ours at present. The main ones across the bottom of the screen there, the Discovery, the Camp, and the HGR target are the most advanced. And you've got some drill result summaries there. There are many more on our website, and I invite you to have a look in follow-up. In particular, this hole drilled by us last year was important proof of the Platte Reef concept at Stillwater. Hundreds of meters running nearly 2 grams platinum equivalent. And then within that, sort of a 27-meter interval that's running very close to Platte Reef grades. That's exactly what we're looking for, and we're seeing that through multiple areas here across these multi-kilometer scale target areas. That's the Platte Reef potential, so that's the nickel copper PGE platinum group potential. We also have high-grade gold at the Pine target, and there's drill-defined high-grade gold mineralization, some very nice gold intercepts, and that's separate from the broader platinum nickel copper system. In terms of our work right now, we're drilling at present, and we're focused on expanding from the known mineralization in those drill-defined mineralized zones and stepping out into the adjacent conductive highs that have never been systematically tested. So we see great potential here to expand in terms of both grade and scale of mineralization from what's known so far. To that end, we are doing an induced polarization survey. That's the red rectangle that you see here. We've covered that area with a survey that looks basically 800 meters down into the rock with 3D clarity. And that's been a fantastic tool for us, modeling the mineralization, and the drill has been right behind it, drilling some of the new conductive highs that we've identified. And that is underway at present. The IP survey is now complete. The drilling is ongoing, and we look forward very much to reporting the results from that work. So we've been very active. We made the first acquisition in 2017. We quickly expanded it as we got into the database. 2019 was important. We drilled it for the first time ourselves, proved the Platte Reef concept, and completed our initial block modeling of the mineralization that we were seeing. And 2020, we've done our biggest drill program yet. That's underway now. And as you see from our news flow, we've had great success in the field with geophysical and soil programs as well. Priorities for 2020 are converting those drill-defined mineralized zones to formal resources and expanding on known mineralization based on the potential we see to add grade and scale. And we're constantly identifying and prioritizing new targets as well. This is highly prospective ground. News flow is expected to be excellent for the coming months. We're receiving assays on an ongoing basis from this year's programs. And of course, the updated block models and the resources that we're developing around those. We look forward to debuting those. In addition, haven't talked much about the other projects, but we are in some discussions towards the sale of non-core assets, and we look forward to announcing those as they become relevant. Touch briefly on the Ontario project. This is high-grade gold in the Rainy River district, effectively. We adjoin Treasury Metals, and they've recently consolidated their project to have 3 million ounces with a permit to build a mill. So we have, as shown here, we effectively have the other third of that district, and we share geology with them. This project is getting a lot of attention, and we look forward to announcing a deal when we get the right offer. The company is fully funded at present. Pleased to report we have about $6 million in the bank and about $12 million of in-the-money warrants. So at present, we are funded through what we need to do, and even into 2021. We are in some good discussions. This project has attracted the attention of basically every major that you can name. However, we see a lot of value that we can add first before we engage necessarily with a larger party. We'll see. We've done a good job of building the asset and adding value, and we see a bright future ahead for the project, certainly. Good shareholder distribution. We've seen the institutional base grow nicely. It's currently about 22%, and management and insiders hold a good 26% of the company. And that's something I think people should always look for in a company. So we're excited. We're drilling now, and the more we dig into this Stillwater asset, the more it reveals. The potential is great, and I think anybody interested in the nickel sulfide battery metal and palladium platinum space should give us a look, and we'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michael. So let's begin with a few questions here. There's one from David. He said, "I'm hearing the labs are being backed up. Is that true? Would that delay the news flow?"
Yeah, they're still quoting reasonable turnarounds, but I think the observation is that they're adding a couple of weeks to that. Our lab is good. It's one of the major labs, and so far so good.
Good. The second question coming from Franklin. What do you think of platinum metals potential in the near to mid-term?
Well, you've got to split them up a little bit. Palladium, of course, dominated by autocatalyst use. That's 80% of the use there. And this supply deficit is ongoing. So I think prices will stay elevated. Rhodium, same thing. Rhodium, of course, at record prices, pushing 13,000 US bucks an ounce. Platinum is interesting. It's been down because of Dieselgate, and investment demand now seems to be driving it into deficit. And then you've got the fuel cell scene, which suddenly fuel cells are getting the attention they deserve. They, of course, need platinum, and we've got it in a U.S. jurisdiction. I think that's timely.
Good. So let's continue on with a question from Marx here. How much do you remember to acquire the projects for initially?
It's the Stillwater project.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was 3.6 million shares issued in 4 tranches, plus a $50,000 a year contract as well to the vendor. The vendor is the one who, of course, well, he spotted it for us. He worked on the ground before that, And much larger companies than us have asked how it was possible that we found it and how come they didn't get it, sort of thing. And it's credit to Justin Modreau, the vendor of the ground. He saw it come open after bankruptcy, and he took action to stake the best parts, and he reached out to us. So we're glad to have him as a shareholder, and he's also been a brilliant geophysicist on the ground as well, too.
Thank you. And the next question coming from Don Kim here on the Chinese feed side. He's asking, does PGE company that have a discount from the market? What's your opinion on that? And who are some of your peers that can be comparable?
Right. Yes, we feel we're undervalued. You know I'm going to say that. I can't speak, obviously, to what we're working internally, but if you look at Stillwater and the potential for grade and scale in the district, it's fantastic. That whole 25-kilometer position is mineralized, and we're identifying those pods that are tens to hundreds of meters thick, kilometers long, that have that Platte Reef style. So we're looking forward to bringing those on the table. I think the company is already worth more, and I think the numbers will prove that out. In terms of our peers, we have the type of nickel, and you can see from our drill results approximately the same level tenor as perhaps a Canada nickel. And then we have the palladium that like a Generation Mining has. The distinction would be, I don't think Generation Mining has the nickel that we have, and we own the asset 100%, with no earn-ins remaining at Stillwater. So we see a potential for a multiple from here. Great. Based on news flow and based on the general market as well.
Yes, I think that's pretty much round off all the questions. I think you have answered all of them very well, Michael. Thank you for your time here today with us.
Thank you.